course, I just stringed on some thread and hit the button. That's the reason why I have a hard time doing tutorials. And I put on a Delica Swarovski and back and forth all the way around to fit my 14 or 12? A 12 millimeter Rivoli. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? 11 3-millimeter Swarovskis and a Delica in between each one for a 12 millimeter Rivoli. And when you sit it inside there, it's like a snug little fit. And so the first thing and I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just a couple beads to get away from the knot. And I'm going to come out of the Swarovski. And this is pretty much like what I did on the cabochon. I'm just going to cut this thread off. So it don't get in our way. Okay. And the key is 3 and 5. And for need odd numbers to engage it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up, say I haven't done one of these in years, you know, I mean years. So the first one I'm going to try three Delicas and go back through inside the side that I came out of on the crystal and pull that through. See what that looks like. That's not enough. So, like I said, it's been years, so I'm learning while I'm trying to teach at the same time. I'm getting caught up on everything. Figures. So what is he getting caught up on now? I'm just untangling. I got a knot. Okay. So 3 didn't work. So let's pick up 5. So pick up 2 more. 2 more Delicas. Or whatever kind of seed bead you want to use. So I have 5 Delicas. I'm going to go back through the 3 millimeter that it came out of. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Okay. And so you're going to go through next bead and come out the next. Swarovski. Okay, now how I started this was with 5, right? But So I'm going to pick up 4 this time, not 5. So I'm going to pick up 4 delicas. The 4 delicas. I'm going to come around. I'm going to go into this one delica that was on the other side. I'm not going to go down inside this one here. I'm going to go down to that one delica that was on the other side, and then back through that same bicone. 3mm bicone. So you end up with this right here. So 1, 2, this will be your third. Third one is your point. To go through that delica and come out the next 3mm. You're going to do the same thing here. 4 delicas. Only the first one is 5. And you come around and you're going to hit that one delica. Here on the side. Don't go down into the delica down by the bicone. Go into the bicone that you came out of, into the next delica, and come out to the next bicone. I keep getting tangled up. I'm so sorry. If I had better equipment, I could show you. It's going to look like that. And so like you do that all the way around. 4 delicas. I actually made my thread too long. That's why I keep getting hung up over here. I'm going to come around. And I'm going to go into this delica right here. Skip over that delica, don't go in it. Go through the bicone that you came out of, through the next delica, and through the next bicone. Like that right there. And pull that through and hopefully don't get tangled up. Poor delicas. Same thing, going to that one across the way. Goes back through the bicone. Oh, see? I got 2 delicas on there that I shouldn't have. Right there in the middle. Not recommended to do, but to keep from starting over. You just pop that baby right off there. That can cut your thread if you're not careful. Now you got your 4 delicas. Go through that one. Through the bicone you came out of. Through that one delica. And then back to the next bicone. And pull it down. Four delicas. Go through that delica there. Skip that one. Go through your bicone, your next delica, and your next bicone. I'm gonna finish tuck it to the last one. I'll be right back. Okay. Got one more to do. 4 delicas. Go into that delica, the bicone, the next delica, and the next bicone. Which is your last bicone. Okay. Now you have one on each side. So you're going to go up that one side like you were going through those other ones. You'll come up through that one side across the way. You're going to pick up 3 delicas. Go across the way, down through that last delica across the way. Back down through the bicone that you came out of and pull that through. Now you have your picot all the way around. Now you're going to go up that you're coming out of the bicone there. And you're going to go up that one that you've been sharing with your neighbor there. And go up the side and come out at the point where the picot would be. And kind of pull everything tight. You can't see it yet, but you're making the engagement. It's so wonky you can't see it yet, but you're making the engagement of your Rivoli. Okay? So now they're going to go each, it's hard to explain. Each one you got a point because you made, there was 5, right? And so the top 3, the way I showed you to do this, the top 3 is like a picot. You're going to go in that middle one at the point and go from one point to the next point. And you're going to pick up 1. We're going to try 1 and see what it does. 1 delica, and go from this peak to the next peak. I'm going to do that all the way around. You got to figure out where your the picot would be. Okay, and then after I put a couple in there, I'm going to decide whether that's too sloppy, need to change to a smaller bead, and yes. So I'm going to take it out, and we're going to put a smaller bead there because it's not pulling it together good enough. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to start at the picot where we were at the very beginning. Okay, now we're back to the very beginning. Now this is a 15-0. So I'm going to pick up a 15-0. I'm going to go from this point to the next point. And that should draw that together. And then we're going to do that all the way around. But we may only get like halfway around before we have to put our stone in there. Because we're making an encagement for it. I'm using too much thread. The 15 O's and go from this middle one, which is your fifth one. I mean 5, you know, it's the one in the middle when I said pick up 5. And what's the third one? So it's a picot of this. It's a tip. I don't know how else to explain it. It's starting to draw together. This may be wrong all the way around. If it is, I'm not even going to post this. But let me just do that all the way around. And find your middle bead. Put your 15-0 in all the way around. And as you work through this, you can start seeing the beads almost start popping up. The points, see how they start popping up now? The points that I'm talking about. So everything is just really wonky. Still picking up 115.0. I'm going from point to point. We're almost all the way around. This is the last one. And go through the first 15 that you started in, that you put on. Now, try to set your Rivoli down in there. And if it doesn't work, well, then it's probably just too big. Well, let's pull it tight. Let's pull it tight and see what it looks like. Okay. Now, it sits right under the 3 millimeters and right inside the caging. And so now we're going to, it wants to still come out. This is where it's real wonky and you really have to hold on to it. And then you go around. Do all your beads you just put on again. The 15 O's and the delicas. And you gotta hold the Rivoli in place. Go through all those. Just one more time around. very loosey-goosey, wants to fall party. $15.0, Udelica. $15.0. Hold on to everything. Keep pulling it tight. Never pull this way. Pull in the direction that you're going. Make sure your Rivoli is staying inside of your 3mm crystals. Once you see that you've made around and you see that you've been around it 2 times, I don't think I have yet. Let me check now. This might have been 2 rounds. You'll see 2 threads. Pull it. Oh, look. Okay, I've been around it twice. That does not mean it's secure. Okay. Okay, now you're going to be coming out of a 15-0. Coming out of the 15-0. I want you to skip from this 15-0 to the next 15-0. Don't go through the delica. It don't need a bead. Don't put no beads in there. Just skip from one 15-0 to the next 15-0. No bead. I have to check, make sure I don't not making knots when I drop something. Go from this 15-0 to the next 15-0. No bead. Don't go through the delica. You done been around through those twice. This is the back, and nobody gonna notice. Besides that, it's gonna pull everything tight and together. Now look, see? This your Rivoli can still come out. You have to hold on to everything. It's trying to come out. We're gonna work on the front again because we're tightening up the back so secure that it's trying to pop out. Don't pick up no bead. Until you make a complete round, 15-0 to 15-0, and then go past where you started on it, at least 1 or 2. Keep checking. Make sure your Rivoli is in place. I mean, you can feel it. You shouldn't have to always look. It's only because I'm blind that I have to keep pulling it up to the magnifying glass. But if you have good eyes and younger, you should be able to see this. 15-0 to 15-0. Skipping the delicas. pulling in the direction that you're sewing in. You see how that's pulling tight? Still got about 3 more to go. Some line. Just keep skipping your delicas and going in your 15-0s until you've made a complete round. I hope the phone don't shut off. This is basically the technique that I was using on the cabochon. Okay, it's my last one, but I want to go one more to make sure it's good and tight. That's my last 15-0 that I went around through without, and skipping the delicas. So we go 1 or 2 more. You gotta keep shaping. Pull it. Pull and shape. I went 1 through past 1. And we could do. In fact, you could go around it 2 times if you want. But I just want to do a couple more past it. I'm not going to go around it twice. I'm scared the phone's already going to shut off on me before I can even show you guys. And see, it's trying to get wonky, but pull. You see how it's closing? Closing up. Might be best to go around it twice. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to be able to. So, but then you would want to go back up to your work. So I'm in the 15-0. I'm going to go drop down into the delica that I have been skipping. You follow your thread. Drop down. And then can come out in the bicone. Okay. Now you want to go around this a couple times just to make it tight. Go around this a couple times because see how loosey-goosey they are? And that should make it tight and it'll hold together good. And it's in there. That's why we didn't go around it at first, because we needed the room. So everything is so loosey-goosey, but it won't be after we go around it a couple of times. It's going to engage this really. And you pull in the direction. You thread tight in the direction that you're sewing. Okay. And that's going to lock this Rivoli in. It's never going to go nowhere. And I'm going to download this before I lose y'all. I hope. Go all this way and it stop. I'll be mad. And so then this is what you're going to have. So I'm going to finish this off screen. But then this is what you have. An engaged Rivoli. I hope you was able to follow that. And then all you can do is make some more of these, and you can connect them. And they're done. They're done without just all C beads. They're done with these are done with bicones, 3mm bicones. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, bye.